Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is my second class of vlogging and today we will learn something very important for research students. In today's lecture, I will explain how to understand the introduction part of a research paper, step by step using a real publication article as an example. If you are an MPhil or PhD student, this lecture will help you very much. Why introduction is important. The introduction is the foundation of a research paper. If you understand the introduction clearly, you can easily understand the research problem, the research gap, and the purpose of the study. Now, let us understand how authors build an introduction. Most research papers start with the global issue. In this paper, the author began with the climate change. Climate change has evolved into intensifying threat to sustainable development in recent decades. This is the first part of introduction. The author is going to talk about the climate change. They explain that climate change has become a serious threat to sustainable development world. In this area, they also mentioned the environmental degradation and greenhouse gas emission, especially CO2 emission, are increasing rapidly. Now we can discuss about the key point of this part. This one part. This part tells us why the topic is important globally. Now in the second part, linking environmental with economy. Next, the author connects with the environmental issue with economic growth. They explain that although economic growth is necessary, it often increases CO2 emission, especially due to industrialization, fossil fuel consumption, and rapid urban development. This area creates a policy dilemma. How can countries, especially demanding, without damaging the environment. Now, the key point of this one area, the second one area key point, the authors are building logical importance of the issue. In this one paragraph, the author is talk about the role of technology and ICT. After that, the author introduced technological innovation and ICT. They explain that technology can play a dual role. It can reduce emission by improving energy efficiency, or it can increase emission due to higher energy use. Different studies how mixed these results different studies how mixed these results shows, which means there is no clear conclusion yet. What is the key point of this one paragraph? This shows conflicting evidence in literature, which is very important in an introduction. Now, in the next paragraph, country specific context. It's showing the Malaysia. Now, the author narrowed down the discussion to Malaysia. They explained Malaysia's commitments 45% reduction in greenhouse gas emission intensity by 2030, carbon intensity neutrality by 2050. How due to industrial expansion, they are showing about the industrial expansion, energy intensity, services sector, and reliance on fossil fuel consumption. Achieving these targets is very challenging, and now we are going to discuss about the key point of this one area. This justified why Malaysia is chosen as a case study. Now in the next area we are going to discuss about identifying the research gap. This is the most important part of the research and introduction. The author explains that many studies exist on CO2 emission, but very few studies examine the combined effect of economic growth, trade openness, technological innovation, and ICT. Moreover, most studies ignore the asymmetric analysis, the key point of this one area. This clearly highlights the research gap. After identifying the research gap, the author states the objective of the research. They aim to examine the relationship between economic growth, trade openness, technological innovation, ICT, and CO2 emission in Malaysia. And they use ADRL and ARDL symmetric analysis and NRDL asymmetric analysis. Both symmetric analysis they are using. And what is the key point of this one area? This tells us what the case study does differently. Now, in the next step, finally, the author explained why this study is important, means the contribution of the study. They highlight the holistic analysis of multiple variables. This is the holistic analysis of multiple variables, the role of technological innovation in reducing emission, asymmetric long run effect, policy insight for the sustainable development, practical recommendation for policymakers. Thus, this research study suggests opportunities for ministry, means this is the policy recommendations for policymakers. And what are the key point of this one area? This shows the academic and policy value of the research. Now we are going to the conclusion of today's lecture. So in summary, a strong introduction, as strong introduction always includes global problem, theoretical background, country context, research gap, research objectives, and contribution of the research means research significance. If you learn to identify these elements, you can easily understand the research paper introduction. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye.